Hey everybody, and thanks for joining me again today for another gun review. I've got a pretty interesting firearm to talk about today, which is the Kel-Tec Sub-2000. Now this may be one of the most useless firearms of all time, or it may be one of the coolest. I don't know, it just depends on how you look at it, what you want to use it for, what your intentions are, and whether it works for you. There's a couple of quirky things about this I'm going to talk about that didn't quite work for me, but there's a couple of really cool advantages and some neat design aspects of it as well. So let's get right into it. A couple of the real positives to this gun is it's relatively lightweight. It's a pistol caliber carbine, so it's shooting 9mm ammo. It's available in .40 Smith & Wesson as well, and it may be available in another caliber. It may be available in .45. I'm not 100% sure. I can't quite remember. But it is for sure available in 9mm for a variety of different magazines, different clips. You can use, I think, some M&Ps in there, or you can use the Glock 17 or 22 mags like mine is set up for. And that's one of the reasons why I picked up this firearm, because I already have tons of 9mm ammo. I reload 9mm ammo. I've got a bunch of Glock magazines, so you can put the big 33 stick in there and you can go to town and have a really good time at the range and have plenty of ammo loaded up without having to worry about it. Now, like I said, here's my Glock 17 Polymer 80. You can see that magazine goes right in there, and the standard Glock 17 mag fits flush in the Sub-2000. It's a pretty cool little setup. One of the really interesting things about this gun, obviously, is that it breaks in half really easy, and with the stock optic setup, sight setup, it will fold in half and make a really compact package that's pretty transportable. I do not have the stock sights on this at all. And the reason why is because when I shoulder this thing, I can't get my eyeball down far enough to get a decent sight picture with the stock setup. And also the hole in the rear sight of this thing from the factory is so damn small that I could just barely see anything through it. And this is common complaints that I've heard several people make. There are some aftermarket versions available, but they're all damn expensive. And for a firearm like this, which can be had for around $500 or $450 some places, maybe even $400 if you look around, I didn't see the logic in spending another couple $100 on the optic setup for something that's not really useful. For me, I just got this. If you watch any of my other videos, you know that mostly I just shoot for fun. And I just picked this up because I thought it was cool. I thought it was a neat design, and I just wanted to try it out. And I just thought it would be a fun gun to have because I already have so much 9mm stuff as it is. So as far as the optic setup goes, I've got this pretty high quality Vortex Crossfire red dot on there, and I've got some cheap eBay 45-degree iron sights. And to be honest with you, the iron sights, the way I've got it set up, they're pretty useful and they're pretty dang accurate. I thought it was going to be really stupid putting those on there, but once I got them dialed in, I used my laser sighting thing, and then I took it to the range and you know, fine-tuned it. And it's really a pretty easy to use setup for me. They seem to be easier for me to get a good shot of than the stock setup was. And of course the red dot is a elevated red dot, and so it works pretty well for me. Now I do have this stupid eBay laser on here, which actually works pretty good. I got it dialed in too, and if you want to shoot from the hip or, you know, from a halfway up position, that little laser red dot is handy for that. So that's some things that I do like about it at this point. But like I said, the stock sight set up for me. I just couldn't get a good picture. I couldn't get my face down far enough, and I'm burying it in this tube that holds the bolt in there, and so it's really, really uncomfortable for me. So that's one drawback. Now, I also have this blast director on the end of mine, and this is not an actual suppressor, but it just directs the blast down range. And it actually does make a pretty big difference. There's a few manufacturers that make these. You can find them on eBay pretty readily. I think I paid $70 for that or something. But it actually does work for the shooter. For somebody downrange of you, it's probably loud as hell. But for the person actually pulling the trigger, it does reduce the blast noise pretty significantly. So that's a cool little thing. Because it has a threaded barrel, I was able to just pop that right on there and be done with it. Again, with the Glock mag option, you can just throw the big 33 stick in there and go to town. The 22 rounder fits in there. The standard Glock 17 magazine fits in there flush and is a really compact option with 17 rounds. So really cool options there. Another thing I like about this firearm is that it's easy to clean. The butt stock comes off pretty easy, and you can pull the bolt out. It's relatively simple, but cleaning the barrel is really, really simple, because you can break it down and just drop a bore snake down in there, clean that out right quick, and move right on. It's a convenience that most guns like this, I don't think, have that option of. Now, there are some other pistol caliber carbines on the market that are cheaper, and there's some that are more expensive. I think I've shot the Ruger, and if I had to really make a decision, I'd say it's a little bit higher quality. It's probably a little bit better value, but it's the last time I looked, it's about $200 more expensive. I think I paid $450 for this, and you could probably find it for cheaper if you looked around enough. I think it retails for right around $500. But the cheapest I've seen that Ruger is about $650. So it's a much more significant investment. But, you know, there's other options out there, but this is a really respectable one. It's an accurate gun. It shoots pretty fast. And the other side of that is it has a good bit of recoil. The way that this thing cycles and the fact that the bolt is right here next to you, it's a fairly significantly recoiling 9mm. You would think cracking off 9mm rounds with a Glock 17 or something, you got it in your hand, you don't have any kind of stock, and it's pretty smooth. But even though you've got your shoulder being involved in this thing, it's got a pretty significant amount of recoil, but it's controllable. It's not terrible. It's not like a 12 gauge or something. But overall, pretty cool gun, interesting design. Kel-Tec does things a little different than everybody else does. You know, some of their guns, I will admit, are kind of garbage. Some of them are really, really cool and work very, very well. This one is just different. It's different than everything else out there on the market. That's why it kind of caught my eye, and I went ahead and picked it up. I just thought, hey, that would be cool to have. Let me just check this out and see how it works. My suggestion for anybody that's thinking about buying one of these is try to find one that you can handle and see if you can actually get a decent sight picture on those factory iron sights. It just didn't work for me. Could not get my face low enough, could not bury my cheek far enough into the tube here to really get a good picture. So I didn't have any choice except to upgrade the optics and put this red dot and these 45-degree sights on it. One thing I don't like, specifically relating to that, is that the Picatinny rail does not extend far enough back on the barrel end of this gun. As you can see, it kind of starts halfway down the actual stock here, and it doesn't give you options to use an optic closer to your eye. That's a pretty big drawback for me. Even with this red dot, like it's tough to get a picture through it. This is a smaller one, but you know, you should be able to get it a little bit closer to your eye, and you can see how far away that thing is. I hope you can anyway, from my eyeball. And it makes it particularly difficult, to be honest. If the Picatinny rail would extend back, and I'm sure there's something with a chamber or something under here. I'm sure there's some reason they didn't do it, but they could have raised it or something a little bit and brought that rail back, and it would have been a much more functional gun ergonomically as far as that's concerned. You could have put a cool scope on it. A low power scope would probably be pretty good with this. I don't know that there's much of a practical use for this as far as defensive options. I mean, it'd be a cool backpack gun. You fold it up and throw it in your backpack, take it camping or something. I mean, it would get the job done. But realistically, I can probably shoot the Glock 17 for any actual defensive use just as good as I could shoot this. But at the same time, I mean, for some kind of survival gun, 9mm ammo is readily available. It's one of the most common ammos that you can find, and the Glock magazines are just all over the place. Damn near everybody's got one. So there's some big advantages there. This is it's a good functioning gun. It's been really reliable. I don't think I've had any hang-ups to speak of with this gun. And I haven't shot it a lot, but I've put several hundred rounds through it at this point. And it's been pretty dang reliable, and it gets the job done every time I've asked it to. I really haven't asked it to do many jobs besides shooting paper and steel, but it's done admirably at that. So that's my take on the Kel-Tec Sub-2000. If you find one for a good deal, I'd say pick it up. It's cool if you like it. If you're just outright looking for any pistol caliber carbine, like I said, after shooting this and shooting the Ruger, I think the Ruger is a better choice all around, but it's significantly more expensive. I haven't shot any other pistol caliber carbines, to be honest with you. I don't think that the High Point would be a good choice. I've heard it's reliable, but you know, I don't know. But there are other options out there. There's certainly some more expensive ones, but you know, use your best judgment as far as what you need and what you're going to use it for. If it's just something to take out in the backyard and shoot some cans or shoot some steel or something like that, it's a great choice. You can throw a suppressor on there because it's got the threaded barrel. So there's some cool aspects to it. There's some drawbacks to it. Try to handle one before you buy if you can. And I think it's worth the money that I paid for it. And if I had it to do all over again, I think I'd buy it again. So that's the Kel-Tec Sub-2000. Thank you guys for joining me again today. I do greatly appreciate it. I hope you enjoy my videos. I certainly enjoy having you guys watch them. Leave some comments if you've got something to say about the Kel-Tec or any other PCC. I'd love to hear what you got to say about it. If there's something out there that I don't know about that I should, let me know. Outside of that, I'll see you guys at the range.